challenges of the Christian experience. Pastor Reverend Daniel Hayes, the senior pastor of John Wesley United Methodist Church. And of course, Reverend Hayes, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr.
And indeed, to tell you how delighted we are to have you here. We've had you on a number of occasions, but it's been a long time. And so we're glad to simply welcome you back to the show this morning. And as we indicated, the topic is the challenges of the Christian experience. And what we'd like for you to do is to talk about some of the opportunities and some of the challenges that you find within the Christian experience, using, for the most part, some of the ideas that you have in a recent published book called The Persecution for Righteousness' Sake, and to use that as the basis of some of the challenges that you have found in the Bible in reference to the Christian experience and how people might be able to overcome some of the challenges that they have. But before we do that, Pastor Hayes, let's see if we can have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and your experiences. Then we'll have an opportunity during the second segment to get into what we call some of the challenges of the Christian experience.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Haney, one of the, I've been in ministry for basically all of my life. I started preaching at the age of 9 years old. I have attended Tennessee State University, Vanderbilt University, Gammon Theological Seminary, where I received my Master's of Divinity. I've also had an opportunity to just work with many people growing in ministry. I've been pastoring in the United Methodist Church for over 37 years, several churches. All of those churches have been growing and live churches, a lot of different situations. So it has certainly been interesting and an opportunity to do a lot of different things. Also, you find in the ministry opportunity to deal with a lot of different people. Through church growth, I have won one of the highest awards in the United Methodist Church called the Denman Award. This is an evangelism award. So I also had that opportunity to win that award. Several years ago, we took a church from very few members to over 400 members in like a 3-year period. So that was also an exciting time of ministry. Just continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to work with people has been one of the things that I've enjoyed doing. And so certainly I'm thankful for that. I've also participated in many workshops, have led many workshops in the United Methodist Church and outside of the United Methodist Church. And so that have given me strength and courage to do the will of God for the ministry and trying to reach people and save them and bring them to church, and also to lead them to a life of being a Christian for the Lord.
And so you've been involved in ministerial work one way or the other, practically, as a matter of fact, I think you said practically all of your life. In a real sense, after having started preaching at the age of 9, certainly you've been involved literally all of your life dealing with the Word of God one way or the other. And as I indicated earlier, there are some of the challenges that I'm sure that during the many years that you've been involved with this ministry, there are some of the challenges that you've been able to pull out in terms of being able to deliver to our audience this morning, some of the challenges and how the Christian experience has been able to help people overcome some of those challenges. What would you say, looking at your ministry, one of the things that you've had to deal with more than any other real item, and what we're suggesting here, because we've got a minute in this segment, to simply think in terms of a single item that you think that, that you've had to deal with in your ministry, doing all of your churches and et cetera, that you could start us off with when we come back, dealing with as a challenge.
Okay.
Just think about that, and perhaps you want to make some statements in reference of what that challenge might be.
One of the things, you know, we're going to talk about just loving people. You got to be a good Christian and a true Christian is crossing lines where you just love everybody. You treat everybody like they're somebody, even those that others may count out. You have to treat them as a child of God. and you have to show yourself as a Christian and give yourself Christian love.
Very good. And so one of the great challenges that you'll talk about after our first commercial break will be what? The ability to be able to love one another. Is that it? And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Pastor Daniel Hayes of John Wesley United Methodist Church, and he's given us some information in reference to some of the challenges of the Christian experience. And he's using, for the most part, some of the information that he has developed in a recently published book called Persecution for Righteousness' Sake. Pastor, let's look at some of the items that you, as we indicated during the end of the first segment, some of the things that I think you indicated love was a major item in reference to that, everything that fits all across your ministry. Speak to that.
Right. One of the things that we have to understand is that being a true Christian for the Lord, our responsibility is to go forth and make disciples of Jesus Christ. And it's hard to do that if you don't have love within your heart and teach people how to love one another. One of the things that's happening across the church today is that we see that there is a large number of nuns. Now, nuns are not the nuns that that are so gratefully serve in the church. I'm talking about nuns that don't attend church at all.
N-O-N-E.
Correct. That people that prefer to do something else on Sunday or Saturday or any other day than go to church. They saying, I'd rather not be in church because we're not feeling love. We're not feeling wanted. We're not feeling desired. One of the things that we have to do as children of God is to spread love to everyone and show everybody that they are of worth in the sight of Jesus Christ. In my book, Persecution for Righteousness' Sake, I lifted up a lot of examples that people that have been thrown aside, people that have made mistakes, people that have had misfortunes in their lives. Sometimes we kick them aside. But Jesus Christ always spent time with people and gave them a second chance, a second opportunity. And sometimes it wasn't just a second opportunity, it was another opportunity because we've used up our first, second, and our third opportunity. So Jesus just keep blessing us and keep giving us opportunity after opportunity. And we can think of some of those opportunities. One was, you can think about the woman at the well that nobody else wanted to associate with, be with, but Jesus came to her, talked with her, shared with her, and after their conversation, this woman ran into the city and told everyone, come see a man. And she fell deeply in love with Jesus, not as a physical love, but a spiritual love and an inward love. And that's what we must be spreading as the church today, is teaching people how to love Jesus Christ first and each other, so the church will become the true church of Jesus Christ.
And so that makes a great element. Continue on.
One of the other things that we have to do is that one of the major things that Jesus Christ have always done for us, he has always looked beyond our faults and see our needs. And in the book of Persecution for Righteousness' Sake, what I've tried to do is make it an inspirational book. So people who have fallen down, Jesus let us know we can get up. People who have made mistakes, Jesus let us know that we can turn our lives around. People that have gone through some turbulent times of life, you got to understand you can come back. And Jesus will be with you, because Jesus is one that does not just look at the times that we have fallen. He look at where we can go and how we can get there. And so developing a love of Jesus Christ is the first and foremost thing that we as Christians have to teach all of God's people. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be, we look at is persecution for righteousness' sake, is also letting people know that Sometimes you just can't deal with the main issues that a person might be going through, their storms. You can't just deal with their hardships. You can't deal with just the fact that this person have come from a place that we have never been. But what we have to do is reach out to people and let people know that we love them, but more important than that, we got to teach them that God loves them so they can get up and run like they never ran before for the Lord. So that's one of the things that we want to do, is let people know that once you have gone through the storms, you can come out. You can start all over again. You can reach the top regardless of where you are. If you're in the valley today, you don't have to stay in the valley. If you on a stormy sea of life, guess what? That stormy sea can also pass by, and you will find yourself sailing on blue waters and on clear waters. And that's what God desires for us. So what we have to do is unite together and show people that God is a God of love, and we got to be stewards of love. We got to let everybody know, if we are claiming that we love Jesus Christ with all of our heart, our soul, and our mind, we got to show other folk that we love them and not be afraid to love folk. I used to have a saying when a person would join church, one of the things that I ask of you is that you love us, but more important, you be reminded over and over again that we love you, and we are not afraid to love you. One of the things I find out in church today, everybody's afraid to love each other. And so if we're going to be true Christians of God, we have to step out on faith and just love each other.
And that's what you mean when you say step out on faith, that you might have to love somebody who might not love you at that particular moment, but by your love, they might respond differently. Is that what we're saying?
Correct.